Yo, what is up? How you guys doing? Hello. Hello. Is my camera zoomed in? What's happening here? No, it's just me. My head got bigger or something. Weird. Glitchy, what's up, man? Swath, hello. Gamer noob, dude. Glorious username. How you doing? Glitch, hello. Jamie, Poodlestein, Shokri, Fatal, hello. Polysocks, dude. All that knowledge has to fit somewhere, bro. Dude, bro. Bro, Sidon. My giant ice cube. Oh man. Well, you guys are definitely posting a bit more work this time around. I tried to give people a little bit more of a heads up that the critique stream was happening today. Posted it on Twitter as well. But yeah, how you guys doing? You love the song? Yeah, red, green, blue. It's good stuff, man. Falterra, how you doing? Good to see you. What is good? Coffee for lunch, dude. that's pretty hardcore. For me, yesterday was my Friday, because Sweden's crazy with their red days, and they like to make them happen right before the weekend, but not right on the edge of the weekend. So like you end up having to take a Friday off if you want to feel normal. But yeah, cool. Okay, we've got a handful of stuff to go through already, so I'm just gonna get started. That's dope planning. It's I mean, I just look at the calendar every, at the beginning of the year, when the fiscal year restarts, we get all of our vacation days up front here in Sweden. I think that's a European thing as well, or generally a European thing. And I go into the calendar and I look for all these weird gaps, and I just request all those strange gaps off, and just, it tends to work out. Not all the time, but yeah. Cool. Okay. We should get started. Do the timing with the music. Oh my gosh. I should try to do that more often. That was completely not planned. Let me get my own music going on here, and we'll get started. You guys having a good week otherwise? To be fair, I put so much milk and Starbucksy stuff in my coffee, it's probably at least half a meal. Dude. Oh, that's awesome and kind of crazy at the same time. Okay, I'm gonna just open up all the posts, so that way we got them on a window here, and then we'll just get going. Oh, nice, Falterra. Some good stuff there. Oh, we got one that's in the Discord, so we'll look at that inside of the Discord. Okay, let's do this. This one's a little bright. You've been warned. Okay, so I'll just I'll pin this as well so we can drag this around here. But we've got some different angles of this vehicle, and as well as some reference to kind of pull it all together. Oh God, color has. Let's zoom in on this one, and well, I guess if I zoom in, it's gonna start scaling them all. But so of course I'm not a vehicle artist, right? So take what I say as just more of a inspection of geometry. So let's copy this image, and let's bring it into Photoshop here. Let me just make sure it's gonna paste the right. Nice. Nice. I'm always scared something's in my clipboard I didn't know about. Whenever work touches your computer, then you get extra nervous for no reason. So, we have this vehicle. When we look at the reference with it as well, I think we'll copy this one as also, and paste these over. And yeah, dude, tabbing is not working today. Okay, so some of the stuff that I'm looking at when it comes to like how this stuff reads, is how things space out and the profiles kind of align. Of course, this is pretty pixelated, so we can't really follow it too closely. But you know, when we're talking about these types of things, we're talking about this and where it dips in there and dips in here. There's those little dips, right? When you do 3D versus like having it in real life, there's a bit of forgiveness when it comes to trying to make sure that you emphasize them in your geometry. That way they kind of pop a bit more. So sorry for color. Is this you, Glitchy? It is no worries, man. Why do I not know that you're Antonio? But like pushing those differences is going to be really key when it comes to like understanding or being able to portray the look of like what you're trying to recreate, right? And I think with these as well, these side windows are removable. So I think it's definitely worth building it in that way. That way you don't get this perceived like dip, and then it's back to it's all uniform, right? It's all one piece. You want to try and get something similar to what's happening here, just because it reads better. The other thing I would suggest doing is playing with your, even in this view, when you're just going for this one color. Mira, what's up? How you doing? Some people put butter in their coffee. It's true. It's madness. I haven't tried it though, so I can't say too much yet. But what I was going to say is pushing your roughness information, just separating out the elements and just getting the roughness close to what you're seeing here, and you're going to get a lot more of this like polished readability, even at like a block out stage. I'm at what's up, man? Walked almost 2 hours from work to home, dude. That sounds intense. But like for example, like the wheel well, that's metal, right? You could probably put a metalness value to that, and just dial in your roughness, and then everything is just gonna read much better, or like more polished. We say it like that. Let's see what else we got going on here. Like it's kind of what you're doing with the glass, so that's really good. I would push the tires a little bit further, even for this type of view. It's almost like detail lighting, where you're just, if it's going to be normal map information, just put the normal map info in there as well. That'll help a lot. And then in the front here, you're going to want to have the license plate spot. Also, you can see in the reference here, there's like this kind of bevel. It's like a crease almost, or like it's a little bit sharper. There's a bevel there. So have that. It looks like it also goes down to the bottom here. I'm not sure if you have that in yours. And otherwise, it's really about looking at the spacing of things. So for example, if we go in here, the spacing here, like this spot here, I'm trying to figure out how to display this best with the size of this spot. Getting that size to be the same here. I'm like, come on, man. And you know, it's figuring out those distances, getting this curve, this curve here, figuring out where those are at, and then where they're at in the reference, and figuring out how to get that to look more like it. Because like, for example, if we move this to the side here, what is it, the fuel tank is a round disc, right? But there's likely a dent in there so that you can get your finger under there to pull it out, unless there's an adjustment that they've made in recent years, like you press on it and it pops out. There's this thing here. Get that up here. The mirrors tend to look a little bit more like bubbly or bulbous, and right now yours are feeling pretty simple. Like this face here feels quite flat. Don't mind me drawing with a mouse right now. This probably should feel a bit more rounded. I think there's a flow to how this is, like this bottom part here, I think just flows all the way around. So maybe that follows that same curve. And yeah, I think otherwise, maybe details that are not the car body could be another color, like maybe black, even like the chairs or the tires could be black. Just pushing those. It's, even though you're in the modeling phase, it's like presentation. So, but yeah, cool. We'll just delete these. What am I seeing in chat here? I am your dad, bro. Dude, if you're my dad, that'd be amazing. But you don't have my dad's Twitch account, so that's impossible. That's right, my dad streams sometimes. But pleasure. Yo, how you doing? Not sure if it's overkill, but if I model a vehicle, I always use blueprints for the side, top, and front view of the car, which are usually available for free on the internet. That's actually an extremely good idea, because then there's a lot of the spacing that's in those images automatically. What's going on here? Oh, nice. I was getting shown something on a phone. So, yes. Where was I at? Where was I? Using profile images, like you're saying, blueprint images, you're gonna get the initial like ratios and sizes of everything pretty, like a lot more spot on than you would otherwise. Less times going back to correct things, if you say it like that. But yeah, it's really cool. Nice job. Nice job so far. Push those material types just even in that block out or in that modeling stage, and it'll be nice to present. Next up is Martin. Good old Martin. It's like, hey, Din. You can call me Dinjarin. And man, every time I'm watching that show, they're like, it's Din. I'm like, this is so weird. This feels very weird. So a lot of this is still block out, but I would love to hear your thoughts. What could be improved in terms of color, lighting, and the overall composition? Right now, I feel like it's lacking a main focal point because I have 3 main light sources: the robot, the table, and the kitchen light. Removing one of them will make the environment seem dark and not interesting. Thanks so much in advance. So when I look at spaces that are lighting centric, I like to think about this. This might be interesting to Amit in my perspective. I like to think about lighting that's there before a human adds it. Not you, the artist, but a human if it was a real location, right? So you've got the window here, right? Basically, what does this room look like with no lighting except for maybe what's coming in from outside? Even if it's like ambient, like nighttime lighting. What does that look like? And then what is the main function of the room? Main function is likely this table and all of the stuff that's happening. So then it would be a light for the table, I imagine that the light for the table is not the same light that's for the lamp or the ceiling fan, because the ceiling fans tend to be more centralized because of what their job is to circulate the air, right? So if you think about positioning things where they're supposed to go based off their function, then you supplement the assets lighting wise to accommodate what the person in the space needs. So I would actually expect some type of a lamp, either connected to the table, or like, because this is a very technical person as well, it looks like. But there's a lot of detail going on here. You're curious mainly about improving color, lighting, and overall composition. Let's see if we can run an experiment here. I have to keep an eye on the time as well this time, so I can make sure I'm helping all of you guys. So let's just like, we'll do this, and then I'll just start painting. So we have this spot lit up, right? That's probably going to cause maybe this area to be lit up like this. We'll ignore the screen here. And then the next focal point is here. You could probably do some harsher shadows below. Like, not harsher as in like, oh wow, it's really like black, but just like getting that contrast in there. I would separate this light and put the fan somewhere maybe even closer to the camera, and maybe even a little larger. That way it makes the space right now is quite large, the room itself. I'll talk about the cables here in a second, but like from like a space standpoint, I think if you shrink the room a bit, like pull this wall in to the space, and I think just doing that would narrow this, which helps you center the lamp a little bit more to the shot. Getting some lights that are set up for what's happening here. Maybe this overhead ledge is actually I say ledge, but this the shelf above could have an integrated light that shines down, so it's more of like a working space. And then thinking about the modeling side of things. So for me, this doesn't serve a function other than the cats are looking at it and going, you know, or this cat is looking at it. I think putting all of the focus here is going to be your gold. So if all the focus is here and you really want this, you could replace this, maybe put it over here, maybe put the washing machine over here or something, and get this here. So the idea is put this guy, put him here, right? So the screen's here, standing, you know, got the legs. Sick drawing skills with a mouse. I don't feel like grabbing my tablet, so so that's standing there, and then you can have your cat, maybe 3 cats sitting there just staring at it. So it's all around, it's all focused around this. All the lighting comes from one area as well. I'm not sure what's happening over here. I see a mop. Maybe there's a lot of conflicting storytelling that's happening. So with all of this stuff here, I feel like these cables, these tubes, depending on what they're doing, should maybe go off screen. Trying to think here. Yeah, they should probably go off screen. Maybe they can reappear here, or they can come out from behind this and go out the window or something. But I think that'd help with readability. What's up, Polygon? My paint overs are legendary. Are you serious? I'll take it. I'm assuming this is a power source. But yeah, dude, imagine if the screen is here and the TV on this on this robot is actually leaning forward, and then you can get the cool like shadows from behind like a couple cats. I think that draws the attention over here, which allows you to shrink the space more to the left and just allow it to be a little bit more personal feeling, or like cozy in that sense. And go full on with the fan. Like make it a big, a big fan that does the job, if you want to say it like that. The other thing I would mention is these orange pipes are very everywhere. Usually this is a waste of resources from like a reality standpoint. So I would probably, there's a lot of stuff going on over here. I'd maybe use it over here as an accent. Have it go up one side and then go across. Don't have any pipes here, and just allow this wall to be busy with all of this stuff, because you need to balance your ratio of detail, like even the tiles on the ground, maybe the contrast between these two should be less so. That way it's more of an area for your eyes to rest. But yeah, that was a lot. I think I'll leave it at that. And we'll see where it goes, because I've seen your previous work. This one's gonna be just as good. It's just exciting to see where you take it, because I can see where it's heading. Just like squint and see what you're seeing when you squint, and using that squint test, let's try and change some of the composition of where you place things and what colors you're using. Like the yellow really draws your eye, right? It's strange that there's two yellow things here, so they're conflicting with each other. Like, does it go this way off screen and then come back this way? It's better to like lead it off screen and maybe have it come around here, or just lead it off screen. Do you ever get follow-up from people who asked help last time? You mean in this like in our critiques, Amit? Yeah, so actually Martin specifically, this artist, there was a scene that Martin was doing and was posting consecutively, I think 4 times maybe, and then the scene was done. And then Faltera always asked for follow-up as well. But cool. Let's jump to the next one. Hopefully that was helpful, Martin. Oh my god, that is bright. Very nice job so far. Really interesting. All right. Drago, is it Drago Entertainment? Pow. I'm probably saying your name wrong, but I'm going to say Pow. P-A-H-U. Hello. How you doing, Kim? Let's take a look at this scene. Still a lot of placeholders. Doesn't really feel like it. But going forward, oh, you're saying trees. So some of the trees are places. Oh, I see now, the trunk and branch materials. Okay. I'm not sure about colors of this scene. Still figuring this out. Background will look a lot different when I fill it up with trees and saplings. I also need to prop up the shrine a lot. Oh, you're with like little details and stuff. So, okay. Let's grab this one. We just copy this and we'll get into, there we go. Okay. This one, let's start with scale first. So right now the shrine is the center point of the scene. It's the focal point. It's Pow? I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't know, Amit. I'm trying though. I'm trying. It's okay. Hello. Happy to have you here, man. So if we take scale first, right now, to push the emphasis of this prop here, your your main subject, I would suggest making sure that all of your scale is on point. So you've got this overgrowth of like mossy detail. Right now it's huge, and it makes it actually quite difficult to understand the scale of this building, right? The stairs kind of help, but I also don't know if the stairs are exaggerated types of stairs. There's not too many things in here that are telling me the size of this building. Maybe the doorway, but maybe the doorway is huge, right? So with the moss like this, I'm actually expecting that the doorway is maybe somewhere I need to crouch under to get in, and I'm not tall. So Dip, how you doing? So I would focus on shrinking those down, getting that detail of the kind of mossy stuff a little bit more in scale, and behaving shape wise in a way that you would expect. Like if this is really overgrown, it's still, you're still gonna see an emphasis of the shapes of the building through it, I imagine. Like this is all coming from above and then working its way down. So figuring out how to get that scale in line will help really sell the size of this building, the structure. When it comes to the composition, so if I can I warp this? Free transform, warp. It's not giving me the grid. That's weird. Why is that? Why? Why? Skew, rotate. It should just give me the grid, no? That's weird. Anyways, yes, lantern as well will help with scale. But if we look at, maybe I need to get a brush that'll give me that grid. That'd be nice. So if we take this square here, I'm just gonna eyeball this. So don't mind me. Yeah, I'm gonna need to get brushes for this. Well, that's not too bad. It's a little wide over here. Right now this is very centered. I would suggest focusing maybe on, you have your path here. It looks like it goes off this way as well. And then you have your path going this direction up the stairs, right? I would suggest maybe framing the, let's see here. Framing the building a bit more to the side. Man, I should have did this grid on the, I should have did this grid on grid hotkey is Control plus. Really? You mean when you're doing this? No. Control plus apostrophe. Oh, there's that one. I need the I need the other grids. I'm pretty sure it's in here. Anyways, I would look at framing this so it's more more off to one of these sides. Because you actually, I don't think you need the detail that's on the sides here. Let me delete this. We'll just hide this one for now. Doing something like maybe if you pulled this in like that, we'll just, if you pulled that in and maybe, I don't know, we cut off the bottom here a little bit. Nice, thank you. Yeah, that's exactly. Now we've got it off to the side. You still get the rock formation. This space is interesting, but it doesn't need to lead anywhere. You can just have some separation between the rock here and the building. Like maybe we use some like low fog or something. Let's just eyeball this for a second. Sure. And let's do this one. I'm trying to think in fog layers. I'll do that. Yeah, I know exactly what I'm doing. I'm thinking in reverse. So let's say that that's like foggy down there, right? Maybe it's it'd be a little bit washed out as well. This will give you some separation, right? And that'll help the viewer understand where things are layered. And the stairs, you know, the stairs come out of the fog. You get some separation, some compositional adjustments. Like maybe this side gets a little bit darker. I'm just gonna do like maybe something like that. And we're really the goal is to focus on this building, right? Also remember, like if this is a highlight here that's happening, this highlight, there should be highlights like that on this structure as well. Like everything is being hit by the same light source, right? So doing this, I think, will help a lot. It puts it on a third, which is really nice. And then if you can get some highlights going on, this structure is going to pop way more than it does currently. Let's see if we can. Let's do something like that. And then I'll just like erase around it just to illustrate some of the. And we can keep the side over here kind of chill. Of course, this is going to be a little funny with a glow here. Maybe I'll just push it all back and say why not. But I think you can see where I'm heading with this. The direction that it's going, and you're trying to get it to pop, right? You're trying to get that to be the focal point. If you fix the foliage scale and all those little details, these feel really large to me as well. Shrinking those down, maybe building, because like I know you want to get some shape and form there. Building clumps into that could be really useful, and then placing those on top of the kind of mossy information would be nice. Also, don't forget your depth of field. You can use that to your advantage to really like. You can fake atmosphere thickening and making visibility lower. So you can use depth of field to kind of blur out the trees that are in the distance, because I imagine all these gaps are going to kind of go away, given what you're showing me. But remember, everything is coming from the same light source if it's being lit by the sun, and so that'll be affecting everything. Like the sky will probably be brighter as well. I'm no lighting artist, but Amit will probably tell you something along those lines. It's definitely about balancing what you're looking at. And then, you know, the post work. Don't forget that you can frame it more, you know. If we do this type of stuff, then we'll just tone this down. You can do this type of stuff, and that'll really help with the colors and or just like viewing the image overall. It's a bit desaturated. If there was some type of color hit you can do in here, maybe it's just the brightness of the scene. But yeah, I think this could all go a very long way, given what you have currently. We can just copy this again and paste it over real quick. And you can see the difference. So you don't need to show as much information as you are, because the focus is the building. Fog will desaturate the original color, so you should ramp up the saturation to compensate for it. Yeah, you can see when I started to boost the contrast, the saturation was kind of going up, wasn't it, as well? Let me just like, can I maybe? Yeah. Okay. So I copied all those layers. Let's push the saturation up a bit. And then we can, well, that's a lot, but we can invert it and then push the saturation a little around the. See, like this is really nice. Getting these colors in here, that's awesome. And remember that the ambient in the air tends to be blue as well, right? Because of the the color of light that's being filtered through the atmosphere. Yeah, cool. It's cool. Nice scene. It's looking really good. Okay. Come back for the next critique. Dude, yes. The next critique will be in 2 weeks, I think, because everything got offset, right? Next week we have portfolio reviews. Week after that would be critiques again, and then a focus. Yes. I'll see you in 2 weeks. All right, Feltera, let's go. Let's do this. So, Feltera, you've been working on your train subway scene area. It's me. It be me, the bean. Hello. Here's the updated version. I'm looking to finish the polish soon, so let me know if there's anything that stands out that could be added. Okay, so let's just zoom out so we can take in all these shots. There are 5 shots. So is this one as well? No, that's the next person. Okay. I'm gonna just grab these and just tear this off. Sorry, you're flashbanged. Cool. So the attention to detail on the ground is quite nice. It does feel slightly uniform when it comes to that. So I would try and think about making the common paths a little bit more flat in their range separation. So like on the outskirt areas, right? You can go in and make those less they can be basically doing what you're seeing here. Is there's a lot of variation, there's stuff that builds up and all that. And then the commonly walked areas are just going to be a little bit less chaotic. Maybe they have a different type of roughness information that's happening on them, like these footprint type details. But yeah, you have to do something with the walls, I understand. Oh, that's you suck. Lovely. This feels quite high. Positioning wise. I'm trying to imagine how tall a person is in here. $30 months. Yo, let's go. Hey, thank you for the resubs and causing a hype train. Yes, let me, I'm just trying to take in this scene so I can really understand what we're, is this shot's pretty cool. The graffiti is nice. Whenever you do graffiti, make sure that the reds, like, make sure that your saturations are within the PBR range, because I can feel like this red is probably outside of that, and it's causing it to pop out in a weird way. Catching the train. Yo, let's go. Thank you. How you doing, J. Crew? Also with the dripping, one thing, it's a little hardcore, I would say, but one thing you could do is remove all of the dripping from the actual graffiti itself and have a kit of dripping that you can place with the graffiti. It's not performance friendly, and that's not really how you should do that in development, like in game dev, because you're getting a lot of decal overlap. But it'll help you give the ability to rotate your graffiti more and get those drips to continue to point in the right direction. Because like right now, maybe it's okay. It's just something that I wanted to note because that often happens. Also, think about how tall people are. Graffiti is almost always going to happen at eye level, very low, or in a really awkward area, but still at eye level. So somehow they got to that really high place. And it's very rare that it turns into a giant mural unless the design was to be a giant mural, right? So like this smiley face, I'm too lazy to go up that high to do a smiley face up there. Some smaller things, spacing of paper is very even. I would try and maybe make it look like it's more of an area that everyone places things on. I am making UV night glowing graffiti at work. Oh, really? Interesting. What about adding a step ladder for height on the spray paint? I mean, you could do that. The spray paint cans are still there as well. That's one way to describe it. That means they're very hardcore about their graffiti. Hello, Maru. So it's just finding ways to explain it or describe it. The other thing I would say is the Baked Buns Bakery. Love the name. I heard feet. Yeah, he came in for a quick wrap around my feet, feel his little tail, and then he's gone. I feel used. I would work on some font for this, and that way it doesn't feel temporary. It feels more built in, or like a location, a real location. Very similar to the branding up here, right? This is all branding. What we call this is branding. And getting a common language going, like you really leaned into what you see in New York. And that is working really well. It's even to the point where like the branding of like how tall the posters are, where they're positioned. The benches are just missing these few little markers so that the homeless can't sleep on it. Terrible but true design. These are cool. I kind of want the light to shine through them. Maybe a bit extreme. Maybe if this was more of a darker scene. Oh man, I love this. I love this. The employees only sign is usually going to be smaller than that, I think. Your stairs feel extremely steep to me. I would just double check on some stair metrics online. You could probably go to like dimensions.com. That rabbit deserves a lighting presentation. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Is it a rabbit? No, it's a rabbit, man. It's a rabbit. I see the two front teeth, man. A bunny. Apologies. Nice. I see you. You've been seen. Overall though, the scene is looking pretty cool. Readability wise, everything is very even lighting wise. I mean, this one's not the same as the other one here. Like this one actually feels like there's a blank spot, which is kind of interesting. But I'm not sure what to do with this scene. I think if there was a lot more motion to it and like things move, like if the train came and left, it would come and go. That would be really cool. Hmm. You don't know how to approach movement? You have dripping water and steam. That's great. Getting any type of movement in here is going to help a lot. I would look into what you can do with getting camera shake to happen. Just really subtle camera shake. And then you can just have the train move on a... Just have it move from point A to B. It doesn't need to be on a spline or anything. And you can key that in the sequence editor inside of Unreal. That should be very easy. And then you can speed it up and slow it down. Ground needs chewing gum. I think there's definitely old chewing gum. But it does feel like a game though, like, which I think is what you were going for before, right? It is very Overwatch centric. You have the micro details, you have the macro details. The ceiling maybe is too lit. Maybe if the ceiling was a little darker. It's only black in New York because nasty. Yeah, contrast could help quite a bit. Not necessarily the whole image being contrasted, but just like being able to pop the image a little bit in that way. I'll simulate some exposure here. We'll just open this up really fast. Man, you guys are posting like crazy. I'm gonna have to start moving faster. Oh, hi, Guy, Jeff. Hello. Let's go exposure. We'll just push this down. I'm thinking maybe the ceiling would be somewhere around there. The other thing I would do to just explore stuff real quick, if you were to go to filter and just do camera off filter. Oh, wait a minute. Sorry. Hi, Jeff. How you doing? So in here, you can move the temperatures around and you can see what interests different temperatures of your scene bring. Like to me, there's more color here that you can play with, because the moment you wash everything in a yellowish light, you kind of lose the color of everything. It all just turns into like yellow. So maybe if you did that and we went with like, let's see if we turn the saturation up just a hair, just to see what because you are going for more stylized. And you can see that that's a difference for sure. So you get a lot more color separation when you remove the kind of yellowish light. And the lights above actually don't look all that yellow, even though they're a little yellow. Anywho, let's go to this shot. We'll do that with the scene. We'll give it this color treatment. We'll go to the filter. We'll do the camera raw again. We'll lower the exposure, and I'll play the ceiling real quick, and then we'll move on. Okay, so if let's just invert that, and we'll just go in and grab the ceiling really quickly. I doubt this is gonna work, but you know, well, we'll try. Not bad. Nice. I'll take it. Cool. Yeah, pushing the ceiling down and then getting details that pop out that you want, like the security camera here. You can have those protrude from the darkening of the ceiling, right? And then you can also emphasize the pipes a little bit more because of it. Maybe, let's see here. We'll feather it out a little bit so the walls are bouncing a little bit of light. But you get the idea with the ceiling darkening, just to get some more separation in there. The other thing is, like Tobias is saying in chat, let's see here. Doing some of this. I probably don't need to be painting this, and there's probably a filter that literally does this. It's fine. Just doing that to like zero your frame in a little bit more could help a lot. And then don't forget to try doing a sharpening pass either in Unreal or in post. We can just grab everything and paste it, and then we'll just do a other high pass. And what we're doing in the high pass is we're emphasizing the details. Like, we're basically just trying to see the details that we want to sharpen. So we get this really low value here, and we'll just do like a overlay. And you can see it's very, very subtle. And I think that it might be because there's some grain in here as well. But you can use that to kind of pop details a bit more as also. But yeah, this I mean, this scene is feeling pretty close. Yeah, getting some close-up shots of like different areas. Like, I think this is actually one of your stronger frames. Like this frame there's a lot going on. I don't know if you need the graffiti. I would work on this logo and maybe clean the wall up a little bit, maybe localize the graffiti a bit more. Don't try and explain it with adding a ladder because it'll just add more detail. And then I would do other shots of close-ups of the muffins and stuff, right? With some nice doff. But yeah, this is developing extremely well. This looks quite strong compared to the last one. The last time you posted. Okay, I'm gonna jump to the next one because you guys are just. Hello, Matu. He's like, you're gonna die. Shots fired. Shots fired. Matu is on the move. Yeah, we've got a wiener dog heading down I-9, proceeding with caution. He's got short legs, but he's moving quick. Yes, this looks dope. Let's jump into this one. The Emperor, dude, he's going off, man. So, hello, Din. Hello. Drinking whiskey? No, it's flavored water. Thank you for the resub, Jimmy. Almost done with this scene, except the interior. Would love to have some feedback regarding composition, lighting. The scene had a small story. There's these are left behind houses by locals because of frequent changes in water levels. Aha, okay, so the flooding. But these are now turned into a slaughter camp by a group of hunters to process alligators illegally. Man, it's not only a story, but it's kind of real. That's kind of intense. Okay. That's dark, but I love it. And I can feel the inspiration from Hunt Showdown. For sure. Okay, so when I look at this, overall, I feel like it makes sense that people will move out from flooding issues because it's a very flat scene. I would try and figure out how to make it a little less flat somehow. It could be taking the building behind and lowering it further, making it look more abandoned, like maybe this is the only one working. Really show the moisture and the water damage that's happening on the buildings themselves. Like there should be a lot of green growth and whatnot kind of happening on this building. The building also right now feels like a box with a triangle on top of it. You got to find ways to break that or it's just going to stick out too much, right? I think compositionally, if that house in the back was tilted and more dilapidated and forgotten, I think that would go a long way. And if there's anything that could be added that would show that there was something that used to be above water that is now no longer, right? So like you're doing a little bit of that work with the dock, but the dock looks like if it didn't collapse, it was still level with the water. Do you know what I mean? I'm surprised I'm not seeing any like lily pad type details. I think the information you have on the edge here, if that got pulled back a little bit, you could use that to give you some room for, I guess it's this stuff, isn't it? There's like the little tiny pads. But getting those more localized around stuff, kind of because they end up anchoring to a lot of things, could help a lot. Tree line wise, there's not really a lot duckweed. There's not really a lot happening compositionally right now. I'm animated. Hey, let me get into Photoshop here so so I quit doing that. So compositionally, if you could, I would pull this building down a little bit more. Make it more of the environment, less a building. It'll still be a building, but more like focused on this one operating. And I think tree-wise, if you were able to get a gradient in the sky, right? Just just a gradient on the sky so that there's some type of atmosphere happening. But you can see already like how much that did for the shot. Like just pushing the trees down a little bit here, and then they can go back up again, right? Because it kind of, what it ends up doing is it frames the building as well. You get a little extra bonus of like it's doing this, right? And then if this line is doing this type of direction, maybe the details that happen here are further back, so they're a little bit further out in the atmosphere. That would be nice as well. Tobias, have a good one, man. Cheers, dude. Good to see you. So yeah, pushing those details. The story you're talking about with the alligators, the alligator hunting and the processing of alligators, I don't see much processing happening out here. I'm not saying you need to like do horrible things. Dude, look at this guy. He's creeping hard. But like maybe some things that imply stuff that's hung up. Good news, Din has the talent. I'm like, what? Okay, cool. I'm trying to think what else you can. Basically, the storytelling that you're pushing needs to go to like 1,000%, and then you can scale back if you need to. You can start with blockouts just to like get that going. Maru, it's cool, man. You're cool. It's fine. He's getting a glare. But storytelling, lay it on. Like I want blood on the side of the boat. I want the story there, the drag marks, the stuff that they use to hang the bodies, like all of that stuff. The inside of this building should probably also be a little darker. Maybe a skull of an alligator on the door. Time to clip that out of context, man. You're terrible. This is why I save all my VODs. Yeah, these shingle type things, this like metal is maybe a little too wobbly. It should probably happen every once in a while, just so that it's easier to read what the surface is. Fog cards could help a ton. Let's if we delete that, and we actually just like, so let's assume that that's happened. We'll do that. Then I'll do this. So let's pretend that those trees back there aren't gone, but they're just a little further back. Right? Just a little bit further back. You could do that here too. Somewhere in there. I'm not gonna sit there and try and do it, but do you see how much atmosphere that gives you? That's a good call. It's like it was in the back of my brain, but I never I didn't end up saying it. Yeah, if you can layer things, it goes a long ways. A long ways. It's the same with like back here. Like everything behind this could go back just a little bit further in the atmosphere. That would help a ton. The other thing too is it doesn't have to be even. Like it can be really subtle, you know? Like subtle. Come on. There you go. Where the fog is kind of low, but as you go up, it kind of clears out a little bit. Subtle. But yeah. Hopefully this has been helpful. And yeah, I want some storytelling in there. You link the interior screenshot as well. Man, I would not even try to do the interior. Focus on just the outside. You can do the interior after if you'd like. I mean, the interior, oh my god. I don't know if I can show that on on Twitch. That's hardcore. I'll link that in chat, and you guys can click on that message if you like. But getting the hooks out here, getting that detail out here, sell it to me without having to go into the building. And you know, if you want, add a cat. A haze at the back end of the, I mean, they could be causing a fire, right? Because like all back here, all of this area, man, there's no way it's gonna make this selection. Yeah, no. But you could get some separation between these and the building. A cat with a crocodile skin. Oh man, a cat with a crocodile purse. Okay, we should move on so that we don't get stuck in here. It's a really cool scene though. It feels like it needs that little bit of push of the stuff we highlighted. Okay, up next. So Sebash, current work in progress. The scene's looking pretty good. It actually looks a little unlit right now. Lighting and what could be added even more to feel abandoned, like an abandoned apartment. This is missing the ambient that I saw before, actually, Sebash. Like I don't know what you've done, but it's too bright now. I think I would rely on the outdoor lighting, the lighting coming into the windows, and you don't have to do almost anything. Yeah, there's a lot of indirect filling your shadows, and so your shadows don't have the punch that they need to really like make the space feel strong. Do you mind me showing your materials are looking good? Do you mind me showing one of your images from our Miro board? Where are we at here? If you're here, Sebash. You have attached? Wait, really? Oh yeah, some references as well. I'm like, where the heck did the window go? Because like when we look at these, they kind of look like when a camera takes a photo and the flash goes off, you know? Yeah, God Rise Through the Windows would be nice. Okay, so if I just drag this over like this, you can see even with like the shadows that you're casting or the light that you're casting in through the windows, this is much stronger. And it gives you a dynamic to the space that you're not getting in your current layout or in your current scenario of lighting. I would try to be careful with how dirty you're making your surfaces as well. I think it's starting to go a little too far. Did I close one of them? I did not. What am I imagining things? I am imagining things. So it is less dirty. So I would make sure that it doesn't do too much of this in the albedo. That can definitely in the roughness, but leave the color differences for more like down below. And then we can turn it up later. Yeah, I feel like either area lights were added on the inside or something happened because basically we're not getting any directional light coming in from outside is the feeling I get. And it does feel like area lights just because it's so filling and there's not a lot, there's like almost no shadows happening. I would actually rely on the lighting you had before, do your full texture pass, and then come back to it because you're just going to be tuning lighting to basic surfaces until you get your materials on them. But where are we at here? Oh yeah, okay, yeah. Sebastian's judging by the way he wrote, I don't think he's gonna be here. um, but yeah, you should really rely on the lighting that's coming in from outside, and I don't think you need to place any other lighting, especially considering you want it to be more of an abandoned, dilapidated feel. That photo manager I was telling you about is called Illusion with an A. All Usion. But cool. I don't have too much to say on this yet. I want to wait until you get your material pass going. I just wanted to comment on the dirtiness being more in your roughness than in your albedo. I would be careful about making this too dark around the facade details. But yeah, the one that you just saw on screen was Miro, if that's what you were asking about. Okay, let's keep moving on here. Been working on this scene. When I can find the time, would really appreciate some feedback. I've definitely been struggling with the lighting and having my textures look really different from the Substance Painter when I import them into Unreal. Are you using? There's a, what is that called? I mean, this is heading in a very good direction, in my opinion. It's really cool. Let me get Substance Painter up really quick. Isn't there a thing you can do to work with that? The Asus LUT stuff, yeah. I haven't really had to use it very much because I've been using a lot of like mask layering and whatnot, but like, isn't that in the post processing stuff in here? So you go here, or am I crazy? No, it's the color profile stuff. And then you would change this to Asus UE4, which maybe there's a new one now. Standard log as well. But yeah. This will help your viewport match a little bit closer to what you will see in Unreal. You don't have to have this on, but just activate color profile. It's with this button here. Display settings, and then you just go down here, turn on activate color profile, and then you switch to UE4 log, or you can try the standard log. But yeah, let's get back to this scene. So I'm gonna copy this. I'm gonna start moving a bit faster. Nope. Okay, this sounds crazy, but because you're lining up to it so much, we're gonna do this. So if we try and get your scales in correctly. So what's happening right now with your dragon that's bugging me is the look at a layer on here. So right now you have this curve here, right? You've got this curve here that turns here, but it follows the flow all the way to the tail. And then you also have this curve. Okay. Now, when I turn this layer off, you have a dip that's happening here, and then your leg is actually much larger and doesn't follow the form of the curve of the tail. So that in turn just leads to a very strange feeling of the creature, like the ribs just like crushed in, like the spine is crushed. So the spine should just cover the flow here. Yeah. So let's look between these two again. You're struggling with lighting and having my textures look really different from Substance Painter when I import them into Unreal. So I wouldn't worry too much. I like the direction that your materials are going in. Um, I really like the way you're texturing this. It's very painterly. I would go very broad stroke and just get all the wood materials in. Like these trees in the back, you might even be able to do those with cards if you can paint them in. Like maybe they don't need to be modeled. And then you can blur the stuff in the back. Hey, Polygon, have a good weekend, man. Ice wise, like water looks pretty cool. Let's see what's going on in the concept. So in the concept, man, the concept, it looks even flimsier, but you really want it to feel like it shouldn't be a square, right? It should feel like it's kind of put together. And then when you look at the scale of stuff, these look like logs. Those look really small. So there's a lot of scale stuff happening. I think your windows look pretty good. Like if you look at the concept here, what's happening is the light source looks like it's more around right here. And then it's gradienting to like a darker edge here. You could do like a miss of parallax inside and then tweak the position of the parallax point to right here. And then it'll look like wherever you're at that the light source is inside. That's a really fun way of using parallax for Windows. Let's see what else we got going on here. Yeah, honestly, I think it's the dragon that's throwing me off. Because I think you just need to keep going. And just pay attention to the shape language that you're building on. Because right now the ice is very like rounded. In the concept it is as well, but remember that can be very they can be fractured as well. Those can be shards of like frozen ice. Unfortunately, I had to change the lighting. I forgot to initiate my direct lighting. Aha! Yeah, no worries, man. Well, let's take a look at it when we get an opportunity, or post it in the dojo chat. Cool. There's also, it looks like the sun is here, and that dog could be swapped for a cat. Just saying. But it looks like you have a dog already. I like this. So again, just keep eye on your scale. Get all these smaller details in. Get all the grass and stuff in, and just continue to balance your detail with also the shape language that you're seeing with the dragon and your gold. Yeah, and like look at the spacing of stuff too. Like this support beam, I would just end all of this stuff here. So the support beam is where the building structure corner is, right? And then you've got your stairs here. There's a cat. Look at that. There's something going on there. Is that like a little, is that a skull? Bro, tell me that's a skull. I think that's a skull. But yeah, keep up the awesome and don't hesitate to model some stuff. Like these could be modeled out with a detail between them. And then that holds the texture, right? Because you don't want your surfaces to be too simple. And I think if this was geometry, you would get a lot of benefit from the way that the geometry would react with the lighting and the shadows it would cast, and the ambient detail. Make sure that this is a diamond shape instead of a circle. Just some smaller stuff. But it looks like you got things going pretty strong for you. If this is the actual sun for your directional light, I would look at making your shadows a little bit sharper. They're pretty sharp here. Yeah. Cool. Yeah, block out the rest of your stuff, and then you can push forward on the materials. Gregor is up next, trying to step up my prop game. Still work in progress. Oh, thank you for giving me this. This is nice. Feedback on the textures and stuff would be nice. So the red is too saturated. This is your metallic, I take it. Where it's metal, just make those white. Just because it's gonna end up, the engine's gonna read it better. Your normals look funny to me, but it might just be the way that it's rendering in this view. Like there's some black information in there, which is kind of you don't normally see. Roughness looks pretty good. There could maybe be some more like subtle variation in the value range inside of the paint, while still keeping it on average this value, right? Because you want to add that variety, but you also don't want it to look busy and noisy. You just want some undulation in the value. Geometry wireframe looks pretty good. It did look maybe a tad low poly. Just adding a few extra loops around any area out that you're trying to round out, and I'm trying to make sense of what's going on here. Sorry for all you that now are about to yawn. So this material here looks like metal, but then there's some edge stuff going on that makes it even lighter. Is that is this coated and then that's exposed metal? Because then that would be white, and then this would not be white. So it's a matter of understanding the surfaces a little bit more, I think. Man, that is high res. Your edges are extremely sharp. I would maybe spend the geometry budget on getting some bevels in there. Get some bevels in there, it'll help. And like these are not modeled, right? Those are in the texture. I would actually model those for an asset that you're trying to push this far. This is not like this is a material exercise. I wouldn't hesitate to model those out. You'd model those out if it was an in-game cutscene. Let's say it like that. It would be cinematics only asset, but you know, that would do you some wonders for detail. Oh, nice. Hello, mouse. Yeah. And I think your red is too saturated. It probably just needs to be toned down a little bit. You got to keep it in that PBR range, you know? Not too saturated, not too dark, not too light. And then if it's metals, it's making sure that your metals map is quite binary, unless you're using substrate. Okay. Hopefully that's helpful. Marvin, I don't know if you're in the stream, man, but I appreciate your friendly words to the people that have posted some work. Marvin says some great work, guys. Unfortunately, has nothing to show this time. There's no stress, no worries. We can't always be creating content, you know? Okay, we got Frank up next. Finally got some motivation to start a new project. It's pretty much done with the block out. Still want to add a couple of things to the scene, but yeah, right now I'm kind of figuring out the lighting, maybe some suggestions on what would be great. Okay, let's copy this. Copy. Yeah, copy. Okay. So let's get to your composition here. Oh, this gives me the guides. That's what I was looking for. This thing. It's the cropping tool. Oh my god. Yeah. I mean, you think so? Let's help him then. Okay, so I like this shot. It's an interesting angle. Lighting wise, pretty cool. I'm assuming there's a light source over here that's causing all of these. remember that the sky is usually still emitting some form of light even at night. So the darkest areas of the walls, if you were to remove these neons, is probably going to be around this level. Or no, sorry, it'll be near the ground, right? And that only gets broken by manually placed lights. So if you think natural lighting first, you get nice gradients across your buildings for either daylight or nighttime shots. And then when you supplement it with your own lighting, you get these cool like shapes going on here, as well as like some areas of interest. This is so compositionally, I would say there's a tangent here. I would move this door to the right just a little bit, just so that you don't get this like close clip. Maybe you could flip the garage with the door. That could be one way of doing it. The garage feels a little narrow to me as well. I'm not sure, like, there's right now in your blockout, there's not very many things that are telling me scale. Like, I can't see the stairs, so I don't know that. The railing helps a little bit, but the railing just makes me feel like the scene is even smaller than, like, putting that railing next to a doorway. You'll figure out, like, where the character's hands would rest. Like, you should find some characters that you can place in here. I mean, we should make a kit of characters that you can place in a scene that like put their hand on railing, that are sitting, that are laying down, that are, you know, leaning on a wall. Because those, I'm sure that those are out there for free. Those will help you understand scale like no other. Just getting those in your scene helps you rationalize a lot of stuff as well. The thing I wanted to highlight also, so we've got the tangent thing. Then we have what is, I would consider another tangent, is the fact that this is a separate building from the backdrop, right? So if we do this, and we just like do something like that. Let's just do this here. You see what happened? So sick. So much easier to read. And it allows you to do these like really nice these details that you're adding. Like those pop now. And the readability is so much stronger. And remember the gradient thing I was talking about, you can use that. Right? So it can become darker. But then you have like, you don't want it to become too dark because you still need to see the separate, or too light because you still want to see the separation. But you can see what it's doing for you. Probably need to lighten that up a little bit. But yeah, now readability wise, you're like, oh, I see what I'm looking at. Also with that neon light, right? The railing is going to catch that lighting. So all of a sudden that pops from the backdrop. Do you see? It's magic, man. It's way better than my ability to draw straight lines, even with the tool helping me. But yeah, those are the things I would look at. So you've got the tangent, then you've got the lighting tangent that helps you separate your space a little bit. I would look at maybe picking some windows to figure out how you're going to deal with the lighting of the windows, because some windows are going to have lighting, but like what type of lighting and how like toned down they need to be in order to keep your composition strong but still logical. And then I would do, like, once you get that stuff sorted, I would do a pass on your medium and small props. Like, what can go here? You know, what can go here? Is there something that we can place against the wall here? Is there a chair that can go here, or like some boxes, some stacked crates or something like that, like milk jug crates. Is there a thing that can go here? You know, what happens here is when you think about the walls, are they painted? What color, what type of walls are we thinking about? Is this one brick and this one's concrete? Thinking about the little stuff that builds up here, little trash stuff. There's probably going to be a puddle here so that you can see a reflection of the thing there. Or like some stains, you know, just those little micro details. And then you've got a few little wires that connect to stuff. Then go over here. There's a little box there. This thing that connects over to this way. Someone's window's open. They've got a little cup here, and you can see like the wrist with the single cigarette out the window. Little fire, glowing cherry tip on there. Those details. I want those. And then the rest will just be handled by your materials. A good bicycle would be nice as well. Yeah, a bike could be right here, actually. Could just... Nice. Okay, we're going to move on. Good old Tom, how you doing? After some critique, I've updated my environment. The focus on the project is around composition and lighting. All right. The lighting is rough and the color grading, post-processing still need to be done. I would not worry about color grading and post-processing right now. So it's no stress. I'm open to feedback before going further with this piece. Yeah, man. Thanks for posting your work as well. Okay. These are very bright. These are extremely bright. And knowing where, like how that is happening, or like how it's affecting the scene. Let's just do this really quick. We'll just dupe this. What I'm thinking is you probably need to push. You probably want to push the lighting like that, maybe. Because see, now the doors are popping more. You can tell that you're coming from a double doorway. These doors don't look like they will meet when they close, just a FYI. The other thing you can do, so if we dupe this, you could do, I don't know, I don't even know how I would fake this, but I've not tried to fake this before. Does this one work? Nice. I'll take it. Nope, that's not going to do it. So I'm thinking of directional blur. Motion blur. Because I think focusing on those lights is going to be really good for you. Come on. You got this, I believe. So let's just copy those. Let's do a blur, motion blur. Just really like... This is really crazy, by the way. Don't do it this much. Just getting something, you know. What is that? Anamorphic lens flares? Yeah, something. And then if you were to take, it feels like these need to pop just a little bit more because they are being affected by the lighting that we're seeing there. Oh, nice. Thanks. There we go. Yeah, yep. So if we could turn these up more. Oh, come on. Come on, man. You can, you know, push these back. That's probably a little strong, but I think you get the idea. You're trying to read the space. Nice. The cross on the, I don't think do places do that? I don't think they do that. But I would really focus in on this area. Like these surfaces need to make sense. I need to know what this is made out of. Is this porcelain? Porcelain's usually pretty clean. Cables on the ground would be nice. Stuff, yeah, coming out of the, I don't know, depends where what the cables are plugged into and whatnot. Definitely once you start to get your textures tuned, like I would look at how bright and dark your albedos are, because when a scene gets this dark, it's going to be really important to like really control how you're visualizing the details. Like these look really dark to me, but they're that blue material I'm imagining, and they're against a white tile. They shouldn't be that dark. I feel like they're too dark. These lights as well. It's odd that they're red. And I also I don't know what that is in the middle. I'm assuming it's the feet side of a body bag, but it's an angle that no one ever sees of body bags, so it becomes very difficult to know. Like, is that what I'm looking at? This pouch thing needs to be see-through. Yeah. Man, this place is terrifying. Henry invented the lens. No one gives the poor man from World War I credit. You want fog in here? I mean, if you add fog in here, we're starting to look at like, okay, wait, what is this? There's something evil going on, right? We've got crosses here. They're even mirrored. You've turned these lights off as well. I would actually suggest if you're going to do these colored lights, maybe all of them should be on. Usually the coats are near the door. I don't know if those need to be here. Man, it really depends what you're trying to do with the space, you know? Also, the frame here is very dark. So when you get that going, look at those UVs. Those are beautiful right now. When you get this frame brighter, I would get the dirtiness under the frame here, just to help connect it to the wall. Dude, a guy just crouched on this thing out of the body bag, completely naked, just crouched down like Gollum eating cats. That you'll get front page with that, guaranteed. He's looking up at you. His eyes are glowing like a freaking deer in the headlights. Right at you. Clip. But yeah, just remember everything is focused on this center area, and arguably you could even turn these red lights off and just focus on this center area. Cool. Hopefully that was helpful. Make sure you help us understand what materials we're looking at. Like this thing here. I don't know. I'm imagining that's porcelain, but yeah. There's a tangent between the left light and the balance. Oh yeah, this right here. That's why I'm saying I think turning these off would benefit you. If you need some evil red lighting, have it come from off frame, or like from outside, like hitting the window seals or something. That could go very dark very quick, you know? But yeah, cool. No, Mom, it's not a cult. It's an art stream. I'm learning how to be an artist. And yes, I'm going to put cats in my scene. All right, Matt. Welcome to the server. I see you are new. And because you have posted for feedback, you will automatically get the community tag. So welcome. Any feedback on my prop? Specifically, the texturing would be great and appreciated. Okay, so we're looking at this barrier, road barrier. So right now the surface is quite cloudy. I would love to see, like, you can post in here in the critiques channel, maybe with your different material maps, because I want to see what you're doing with your roughness. Yes, so your roughness feels a little strange. Geometry wise, your bevels are very small. The bolts are very, very small, so they're going to be hard to really see and appreciate. I would actually triple the size of these. If you look at references of these barriers, you'll see how big those bolts actually are. I would add bevels. They don't need to be like 2 bevel wide, you know, like or like a three edge bevel. It can be just a single bevel, just to get some nice wrapping of lighting around like we have here. The mossy, like, green stuff, I would leave it to areas where it would like build up and collect a little bit more. And then I would probably add surface wise on your materials details that show like maybe a car that had scraped by it at one point, right? Because usually road barriers are quite long and they're continuous, and then they'll have a break just to start to the next one. And if they do have a light like this, they will have another one, and this one right now feels very like off center from where you would expect it. Usually they put the lights in the same area that a post is going to be because they attach the light through the post on the back. Yeah, that way they don't affect or have to screw into the metal, which leads to like age and wearing of the metal faster. So I would tone down the mossiness, maybe like use that type of detail for like grounding it to the floor. Work on bevels. Post in the critiques channel, not the stream one, but the server critiques, to get more feedback. Everyone will help you. It's actually really nice. Look at the scale of the bolts, and I want to see your material maps. That way we can understand how you're approaching your surfaces. Because right now, this is almost more like concrete with a metalness to it, just because of how it's cloudy and the breakup on the surface. The only reason I'm not commenting on the scene, Shibi, is because the request was for the feedback on the prop. But if we were to look at the scene, I would say generally it's all right. The grass looks pretty good. The fence feels a little strange here. And the way that the grass ends on the road, I would probably have it grow into the road a little bit and shrink as it gets close to the edge. Out here, you can let your grass get a little bit more wild, a little bit more overgrown. And when they're like that, they tend to be a little bit more saturated, maybe lower in value because they're really rich with nutrients and are kind of unaffected by the road and the cars that are kind of polluting along the edge of it. But yeah, just a little bit of feedback on the environment itself. But yes, onward and forwards. We've got a revolver. Look at that. Look at that revolver. Hey everyone, I recently completed Chamfer Zone's revolver tutorial, and although this won't be a portfolio piece, I would love some feedback on the textures. Ooh, you got a Sketchfab link too. Let's go. I can show you guys the stuff I've been experimenting with in Sketchfab after all this stuff if we have time. So material-wise, it's very detailed. It's kind of like if Overwatch were to go more realistic, but it was still Overwatch. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like it's in the color palette of like one of the fancy characters that comes from like a wealthy background in the lore. That's the vibe I get from this. But let's look at the inspector. This is one reason I like one of the many reasons I like Sketchfab for viewing assets, is we can go in and look at these details. So for your metalness, I guess because of the way like the types of materials you're trying to do, honestly, what should happen with this surface is this pattern should only be in the roughness, because that's what would make the pattern show up in metal, right? Hey Matt, no problem, man. I look forward to seeing some more stuff from you. And welcome. But yeah, so this surface, basically right now you have all these patterns in the metalness. You can see resolution wise, oh, they're pretty consistent with each other. Maybe it's because it's in the same export. But in your roughness, that's where the information should be, I think. And the cloudiness pass that you're doing in the roughness, I would not have that there. That should be, that type of detail should be reserved for, instead of using this kind of cloudy, splotchy pass, I would be more intentional with the way that you're applying that type of detail. Like why would it be splotchy and like in this area? Like what's the roughness look like here, you know? Because of all of the actions of the chamber and the rounds and the heat that's involved and the kind of like output of casings and just everything that happens here would lead to the roughness being quite interesting here, while also having this pattern being in the roughness and not necessarily in the metalness. In the metalness, this technically should all be white. And you wouldn't have any like gray values. Dude, look at that. There's fingerprint action going on in there. I see you. I see it. I also noticed this. Is that some like subtle revolver, what is it called? What is it called? I don't think they could pattern stamp all those areas. Grease, not grease. The chamber. Oh, see, this is a missed opportunity. In here, you should have the this is the thing I'm talking about. What is it called? If DEF CON was still here, he'd know. There's a term for it. But it's basically, it makes the bullet spin so that it tends to be more accurate. Rifled. Rifling. It's called rifling. Jostling, dude, coming in hot. Thank you, man. Yeah, it's called rifling. So you can have that there. The James Bond look. Yeah. Yeah, man. That's exactly what James Bond is showing, though. It's rifling. And it kind of looks like there's some rifling on the outside here, which is not usually how you see it. But yeah, keeping an eye on how you're using these details. Also, ambient occlusion. A lot of people use ambient occlusion in a very strange way. Ambient occlusion that shows gradients like this is really good for when you're using it for texturing, right? When you're texturing a surface, you want gradients in areas where you want to be able to control how the mask works. But actual ambient occlusion wouldn't be here. It'd be here and maybe a little bit here because it's going under here, but also the whole underside of this would have ambient in it, like under here. This dark ring would not happen. This area would maybe be dark, maybe around here, but it would quickly go to like a white. This area would be white minus like some of the closer detailed areas. But yeah, ambient occlusion for production versus ambient occlusion that we use are very different. So there's production ambient occlusion and then there's rendering ambient occlusion. And I don't think we separate those enough when we talk about AO. So like this whole under area, this would be pretty light, if not white. And then this would be dark, but a little closer to like, oh no. Oh, okay. I thought I, I thought I closed the, oh, let's just go into here. I'll show you. So if we take levels on this, it should be closer. Closer to something like this. Of course, it depends. Like if you're going for a very specific look or you want shapes to pop out more, then you're stylizing it a bit, and that's totally fine. I just want to make sure that we cover how that works. It's interesting. There's a specular in here. It's almost as if they're getting ready for something. Overall, though, really cool looking revolver. I think roughness wise, it could use some directionality in the things that rotate or spin. Like you can see in here, like just some directional scratches from it spinning would be really nice. If you Oliver, how you doing, man? It's good to see you. Poodlestein. Let's check out what you're up to. Okay. Man, you're going for all of those details, aren't you? What did I tell you to do? Oh man. Okay, block out of my AT-AT interior is looking for references of hinges, pistons, and the contraptions that would help me design parts of it, both visual and mechanical points of view. So I wouldn't it man, it really depends. Like I know that you want to get this done. Like you want to build this out. I would close like so can you link a very long rant about ambient occlusion? Yes, go for it, Oliver. So what I would say, Poodlestein, is I would close these and just do the outside of it. Because I think if you continue down this path of working on the inside and the outside, you won't finish this year. You can, but it's gonna take you a while. If you're down and you're into it, go for it. That is a risk. If you're willing to take the risk, then it's fine. You know, the scene I'm working on is it's about to pass a year. And not detailed don't go together. You're not wrong. So like the paneling and stuff here, this is nice. I would like yeah. I would solve this and then leave this as simple as you're seeing it here. You're just following my footsteps. Man, I always say in my streams too, I'm like, this scene is too big. Don't do this. The reason I'm doing it is because I'm solving lots of little things. Imagine lighting something for a year. I'd go crazy. Yeah, I'd go crazy too. That sounds insane. But Poodlestein, you want to do this? Let's go for it, man. I got your back. I think the way that you're modeling these, if you solve this, you should be good to go. And we just start working on how the materials are going to read, how the textures work. Because we're going to need to look at like how the bevels sit down here and like how those details read. Because when you get a light, harsh angle, what's going to catch the lighting? If it's not the flat surfaces, like the bevels are. So something is going to have bevels in order to get those highlights. And you probably don't want to bevel everything, so just keep that in mind. Can confirm going crazy. Polysocks, it's going to be all right, man. I believe in you. But man, that's intense. I don't have any other comments on this, actually. I would leave it simplified like this, though. Yeah, the inside feels much stronger when it comes to the bevels like you're talking about. Oh, yeah, you're dialing your scene down now, Rex? All right, Cubed D, welcome. I give you that community tag. Welcome to the server. Let's take a look at this scene here. This is really intriguing. I love the trees. Much more renders and videos in the ArtStation post. Yeah, this is really cool. Ooh. Yeah, the vibe of this is like, oh my God, this right here, favorite part. That shot. That's my favorite. Bam. That's this is pretty sick. It's a really good balance of like the color usage and like the details. Dude, look at the wait, what? Hang on. I'm just gonna scroll. I'm scrolling. Lots of images. Holy, that's a map. Ooh, dude. Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, 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 yeah. So this is really nice. Very balanced. Lots of interesting details that kind of tie everything together. Let's see here. So there's too many images when you scroll through the post. Oh, this is nice too. So this shot is actually suffering from not having like the light on your side towards this. So like you end up everything's kind of in shadow, so it becomes a lot harder to appreciate what's there. But the aesthetic is very well established. I would say, let's see here. Where things are breaking down for me, or like where there's weaknesses that are affecting the overall image, it's the bushes. I think it's the bushes. Let me see what's going on here as well. Also, the trees are collecting a weird like post-ambient occlusion in their core. But when we look at the bushes, there's not very many of them, and they actually end up leading to the trees feeling a bit naked or like on their own in a way where it feels a little unnatural. Like in here, it's working. I think that's like the reason I liked this shot so much is there's more bush and like microplay of like little plants and details like that. There's more bushes and just everything is kind of grounded. You're seeing the interaction between all of the assets that are meeting the ground itself. The piece is extremely strong. You should be very proud of this because it looks awesome. I love the way you're presenting your images as well, and you're leaning into the rounded corners. I see you're blending right. Like ArtStation picked up on your work, and they were like, "We got to make everything rounded now." This the ArtStation's cracking me up. It's funny. I would get some. Let's see here. Maybe some variation in the grass height around the walking paths. So like the grass goes lower as it's close to the path, and then goes taller. The only other thing I would mention is the tree height. All the trees are kind of very similar in height, and they don't really feel like they have a composition to them. Like when there's an area that's a lot of trees, it feels like the trees would get shorter and younger around the outside edges of the large mass of trees. So like if we go, this is so much scrolling. In here, around the outsides, they become thinner and there's less of them and they're shorter, right? I think that would help compositionally with framing and such. And the only other thing, I said that was the only other thing, but there's one more. I want breakdowns. Show me all of the unique props that exist to make this happen. Show me your textures. What do the UVs look like? How are we like, is there any videos that you can post that show you painting the trees down? How did you go about creating a scene this large? Is there any technical understandings that you had to overcome in order to make this happen? Like I kind of want like where this was posted. Okay, this was posted 4 hours ago. Can you write a breakdown? I think that would be really cool. Like any website would want a breakdown of how you were able to achieve this. I'm also curious how long it took you to make all of this stuff. Stylized fantasy. So there's some assets. It's interesting. Yeah, the translucent tree I think is hurting it a little bit. I think you're right. It might be the way that it's blending. If you could, so what I would do for a thing like this translucent tree is to do like a depth fade. So anything that it passes through kind of gets it goes down in opacity. But then I would have some type of cloud windy pattern that passes through it that makes it visible every once in a while. So it's not always there, because this feels more like a hologram, if you want to say it like that, versus like spiritual or like a energy. It's interesting though. It's intriguing to see. A very impressive scene. All right, Mark. We got Mark left, and then we're done here. Let's look at Mark's stuff, and then I'll show you what I was messing around with, like scan wise. Because you remember I was talking about scans the other day. Yeah, it seems like the tree might be inspired from Kina. Okay, so Mark, welcome to the server. It doesn't look like you're green, so you've been here for a bit. But thank you for posting your work for feedback. Hello, everyone. I've been gradually getting back to work on finishing the scene. It's just mostly finished texturing these doors, both in Painter and Marmoset. Also, I've been trying to find a way to get more space around the desk area. Is there any feedback you can give? So what I would do is look at scale. So right now we got some doors. Space wise, I feel like you're trying to do a lot. Like you're trying to build an entire space that you can run around in. But let's think about the camera angles you want to shoot in. Present in the chat, dude. Nice. Hello. So think about the angles that you want to show. What are the screenshots that you want to show? I would focus on those. Because if this is open, now you have to figure out what the outside looks like as well, right? Or like figuring out which angles you want will help you narrow down how much work you have left to do as well. Now, given that, I don't have much context for the space, so I don't know what type of, like the door feels a little small to me, like maybe a little short, especially when you have the character here. I'd be curious to know more about like what is this scene? What's the story? What type of building is it? What type of space is it? Is it scary? Is it supposed to be a horror? Is it just like, I don't know. Is it a building in like medieval times? Neville, how you doing? Good to see you. Also, hello, Cheese Whiz. I don't think I said hi to you. But yes, I think given that, all I'm seeing right now is you're trying to invent a lot of stuff where I would lean into a lot of things that are in real life to help you so you don't have to solve those problems. Like the way this is set up right now feels very strange to me, and also like the pillars are very thin, so it feels a little weak. Knowing this is wood, I guess this looks like wood as well, and then maybe this is a tile or another carpet type. I need to understand more of the context of the space. And I don't think I could critique this fully given what I know right now. But what I would suggest doing, so you're planning on adding some doors for the patio area. I'm planning a scene to be with someone is suffering through a lockdown. Oh, okay. Interesting. Man, I had to do a lot of those types of scenes in Division. Because you had to imply that people got locked down, but then they were never allowed out, and then it got worse and worse. What I would suggest doing for this scene, I would post some critiques with all of your references, what you're trying to do, and explaining your scene overall. Tag me on it, and I will get back to you. I will actually give you some feedback on that, because I can't really comment on too much of this. And it's kind of hard, like detail wise, this looks pretty detailed. This looks like concrete, really damaged concrete, and then a door that's wooden, and then wooden facades, but maybe this is supposed to be wood. I find it strange that wood paneling would be bolted into concrete. But yeah, this is interesting with the floating text for highlighting things as well. But yes, do that, post that in critiques, and tag me. Don't hesitate. And I'll get back to you. because I don't know what to do here right now. I need more context. But cool. I think that was the last one. We're not gonna pull up the alligators that are hanging around. I can show you what I was up to here. Apparently, a pro account. What? Is that for real? What? Anyways, okay. Yeah, so I started playing around with scanning. Just to go off on a little tangent with you guys. We'll get some music going as well. Mainly because I have no idea how any of it works, and I was like, this is kind of interesting. We'll get the red, green, blue for you guys on too. You can enjoy that. But yeah, scans are interesting. So I went in not knowing what the hell I'm doing and started just trying to do it with a phone. No color balancing, not worrying about the time of day, none of that stuff. Just how does something capture when you start taking pictures of it, and how does that work? But this isn't that bad. This is only 200 photos. And I just focused on this area. I mean, of course, there's going to be some areas that are blurry. How long did it take for this to process, you mean, Amit? So it's really interesting. I'm using, where's my phone? I'm using a Reality Scan. And you take all the photos and then you just push it to the server. And I'm assuming, so I have 49 free credits or 48. So I have 48 uploads left. And an upload is up to 200 until the reset on June 9th. Am I paying for this? Maybe I'm paying for this. I should look into this to see if I'm paying, because they didn't ask me. But yeah, I just signed up for Reality Capture, the app, right? And then just started taking pictures. And then bam, it was like I sent 200 photos up to the cloud, and I think it was like a few hours, 3 hours. You get an email and then it said it's all here. And then I can, like, what is it? I can export it. It's 1,000,000 triangles. And I can export it as like a USD file or a FBX or any of that stuff. Take photos of myself next. Oh man, I don't know about that. But where are we at here? If we can go to like this. You can see the detail that it's getting. Certain areas I really focus on to see what it would do. It's not too bad, especially considering these are all like leaves. Yeah, I'll scan my entire self so that you can 3D print me and just have me on your desk just with my thumb up. But it's not bad. I was pretty surprised. I went back again. This is one of our friends' cabins. The motivation we need. I went back again and then just focused on what happens if I really just, like, where does it break down? So see, we've got some issues here, which is probably a lack of photos. There's another issue over here, this under area. But I went in, like, I was getting the camera in here, and this is just my phone, right? I'm just trying to get any angle I can to try and make this like come out well. And dude, I'm actually quite, like, look at that. That's kind of surprising. Oh, dude, you haven't won until you've captured bird poop in a 3D scan. So this was really cool. I will probably export this one out and see if I can actually get it into our temple scene, because I want to see how much work is required when you adjust materials to make it, you know, work with the rest of the scene. That's pretty nice though. I'm quite happy with this. This is also 200 photos. And then I was like, okay, let's try something really big and see what happens. So I'm just kind of steadying the scans right now and seeing what it does. So this one, so you can see out here, I did not capture any of this. The goal was to capture this space, and I'm helping our friends out by figuring out like, okay, if I know the length of this, how many like gardening beds can fit in here? Like for like if you wanted to turn this whole area into a garden. So we're going to take this and we're just going to do some prototyping and figure out like, oh, what would you want to do here? You know? So I think that'll be really cool. But again, the scans are it's quite surprising. Of course, you can see these are quite blurry because the goal wasn't to capture the materials. The goal was to capture the space that exists, right? Photogrammetry course. Oh man, dude, I don't know much about photogrammetry, man, but it sounds cool. Yeah, there's some, it's interesting. I'm having fun with it. There's some other things that I'm curious about. Like if I just sat here and used the 200 photos to just capture this, how is that useful? Like, can I use that surface for, like ZBrush, for example, or capturing cracks on the ground, like fractures of concrete and whatnot? Like how far can you take a scan? I mean, it seemed free because I downloaded it and it didn't ask me for a payment, but I'll have to look. Do you need to clean the lighting off it? Dude, so this is actually an overcast day, but I'm not doing any post work. I'm literally just taking 200 photos and then sending it. Oh, I want to show you guys one more thing and then I will get out of here. It's late. Actually, no. I will show you guys. I'll show you on Sunday. How do you light it differently once it's outside the engine or once it's inside an engine? You'd have to capture it either in overcast or do some processing of the images to attempt to remove the lighting. Ending on a cliffhanger. Yeah, I want to show you guys on Sunday. I will show you. I built a very basic PCG, a procedural content generation volume inside of Unreal to just basically try out procedurally scattering using some of the new Unreal stuff. It's very simple, but I wanted to just kind of bite into it a little bit and see what it tasted like, and it tastes delicious. Okay. Oh, I'm gonna get out of here. Yeah, I got Game of Thrones endings. Don't worry, no one's gonna die. It's gonna be fine. And the finale, there won't be a finale because if there was a finale, it would suck. Cool. All right. I'll see you guys later. Thanks for hanging out. Thank you for submitting all of your work. It was amazing. You guys have made some great progress on the scenes I'd seen previously, so super nice. But until the next time, here's the Discord if you're new. I'll see you guys later. I'll see you in the Discord, or I'll see you on Sunday. All right, guys. Peace.